What I'm going to tell you is that, yes, we do have craft. We do have technology from somewhere else. It is an iceberg. You're seeing the tip of it that I've just started. This is an entire deployment that was swarmed by over 100 unidentified flying objects. It was gone. It wasn't just like I couldn't see it. It was no longer picked up on any of our radar systems, not just mine, but the global radar system that everybody uses. This thing was gone. Where are UFOs from? Who are operating them? What is their intent? Where do they come from? I mean, this is an astounding moment in human history. This is not science fiction. I was intrigued as a kid when I heard on the radio in 1989, I heard Bob Lazar, this guy, talk about that he reverse engineered alien spacecraft for the United States military. And I was like, yeah. You know, I was just a kid. I was 13 years old. But then he described the propulsion system.
Totally impossible. The propulsion system is a gravity propulsion system. The power source is an antimatter reactor. This technology does not exist at all.
And that really flipped my script. For like a second, I was like, if that is true, that propulsion technique, the gravity amplified propulsion technique is true, then distance becomes irrelevant. So people can say, UFOs are real, they're machines, but we don't know where they're from, but maybe, hey, they're not visiting here. That's the big question. We do see them here, so they're obviously visiting here, but where are they from? With gravity propulsion, they could come from anywhere. If you have looked at this phenomenon for a while, you know that last year and up until into 2022, George Knapp and I released a series of images and videos that were confirmed by the Pentagon as UFOs filmed by our United States military. In 2019, Navy warships got swarmed by over 100 UFOs, and I had two different ships, and I was able to obtain and release footage, not just visual cell phone footage, but also infrared footage, also FLIR, forward-looking infrared thermal footage, as well as radar data. This has never happened before. We've never had cumulative, corroborative evidence filmed by the military at this scope and scale and confirmed by the Pentagon. So let's really absorb that for a second. Is this the first time in history that we were able to get 4 to 5 sources of corroborative video, actual evidence, including radar that was filmed by our military and then confirmed by the Pentagon, the corroborative nature of this evidence? I think that we can't let that get lost on people. This is not one person putting something out. This is not just 2 people that filmed the same thing. This is an entire deployment that was swarmed by over 100 unidentified flying objects. The head of the Navy came out and says, we don't know who they are. We don't know where they came from. We don't know where they landed. And there's a lot more to the story. What I've showed was a very small portion of what I obtained, and it was just to begin the process for people. And man, when you're looking at this footage, you have to understand the complexity of what it takes to get it out legally. Also, how to educate the public so they know what they're looking at. Who understands a black and white video that looks kind of like grainy? Well, no, hold on. This is thermal footage. This is the heat signatures from the object. When you're seeing an oval, what you're seeing is an oval craft. You're not seeing plumes, heat, exhaust, flares, nothing like that. If you can understand what you're seeing in this corroborative video evidence that I put out with George Knapp, if you can understand what you're seeing, it is astonishing. You're not seeing rotors on a drone. You're seeing a propulsion system unlike anything you have seen before. Now, look, there's a reason why we put it out at that time. We put it out at that time because there was pressure in our representative government to get answers by our intelligence agencies. And guess what? It worked. There's questions being asked. There's reports being generated. Now, some of these documents, I'd say 37 out of 38, deal with really advanced futuristic projections of what we can learn by what we witness with UFOs. What's really important is that the majority of these reports deal with the physics, the science, the aerospace projections of what we're witnessing with UFOs, these biological harmful effects when people come into close proximity with a UFO. What's really spoken about in these reports, the people writing them, even if they were professors from universities dealing with aerospace, they didn't know they were working for the government. They were asked to compile the general knowledge. The one that really captured the imagination of pop culture and the public was, they said, unaccounted for pregnancy. Now, of course, that's a salacious detail. That's pretty wild. But if you actually read the documents, what they focus on was they showed that there is a known biological effect that is harmful caused by close proximity to the propulsion systems of these UAPs or UFOs. So we're talking about radiation burns, like actual burns on the skin. We're talking about degradation on a cellular level and at the level of DNA. We're talking about all sorts of cancers that are strangely associated with the UAP or UFO phenomenon. Now, is this some sort of hostile action taken by the occupants, the pilots, the AI that fly these UFOs? No, typically not. That is a very rare occurrence. However, there is evidence that that does occur. It is suspected that these craft operate through gravitational propulsion. Some people would theorize that it's through gravity wave amplification, that they literally bend time and space. So it's not propulsion like you think about it. It's not pushing something out the back and moving forward. From rockets to roller skates, that's how everything works as we know it. Except UFOs, they seem to act very differently. These craft will instantly move as if they're completely immune to the physics of inertia. Without sonic booms, without impact, without explosion, they'll move at 90-degree angles at thousands of miles an hour. So what we're seeing are these machines that are made by somebody, and they are somehow traversing time and space in a way that is so fantastic to our understanding of physics. But we do understand it to a degree. We understand that if you create some sort of gravitational field, that you can fall into place rather than being pushed into place. Imagine you put a bowling ball on a mattress, and then you push your fist down on the mattress and the bowling ball falls into the impression that you made. That is essentially what we're seeing with the propulsion system of these UFOs, except they're moving at a speed and a pace that is absolutely incredibly impressive and far beyond any technology that humanity has ever displayed in the theater of war or in any scientific journals that you can ever read about.